I just want to say first, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this course. It's absolutely invaluable to me. So thank you to all the instructors, especially to Fanny, who has been wonderful and given me more than enough time to work on this stuff and gone beyond our normal appointments time. So I really appreciate that. And I still have a ways to go because this is a big course and there's a lot of material. So I'll keep plugging away. But just to start, the course that I teach is called Introduction to International Relations. It's usually a 250 student course. So it's a big lecture course, mostly freshmen that are taking this. And so I typically have a lot of active learning. I have the students doing lots of activities in the discussion sections, group presentations, simulations of the United Nations, et cetera. I typically would use clickers for engagement. So I started off sort of having no idea how is this going to translate because it's such an active class, the way that I've designed it. So I was excited to see that it's actually possible to do a lot of this stuff in a remote way. So I just went by some of the things that you've asked us. So some of the new things I've learned, the syllabus. I had really not thought about the tone of the syllabus until this course. I am one of those people that has a very dense syllabus. There's a lot of things in it. I like to highlight resources, everything from, what do you do if you experience harassment, discrimination, assault, to, what is due when, et cetera, and, how do I contact the Writing Center? So that was really key to see that, maybe instead of just having it be so dense, I love that in the remote setting, you can do links to things, which obviously makes it a lot easier. So I don't have to include a lot of that text. And then tone, not just in terms of, thinking about content, but also making sure that your syllabus doesn't just sound overbearing. So I definitely had an overbearing syllabus. You have to do this, lots of bold, lots of underlined. So that's something that I've thought a lot about. Keeping videos short. I didn't realize that until this course, that we really need to think of keeping them, to more like 10, 15-minute chunks, which sounds really short, but makes a lot of sense. So that's something that I've been trying to do as I've started recording the videos. Being clear and concise with instructions. And then, thinking about how Canvas is a space where you can replicate a lot of the normal in-person teaching expectations. So, one of the things that I always like to make sure is that the students take the reading quiz before they touch the lecture, before they even see the lecture. So what's cool is you can actually in Canvas set the deadlines, so that the student doesn't have access to the lecture video and can't open and access it until he or she or they have actually taken the quiz. So that was really helpful that Fanny showed me that you could do that. And then also the importance of keeping the first couple of weeks open so that students aren't totally in the dark and they can kind of preview what's happening. I really like that. And then also learning about how instructor presence matters. That seemed like this very nebulous thing to me. But I like that, it looks like I can do a combination of I'm planning on appearing on the first day, I'm planning on appearing for the midterm review, and I'm planning on appearing for the final review. And in between that, there'll be pre-recorded lectures, but that allows me to be in person, so to speak, for the Zoom meetings. I'm going to try to pop up in video, in person in some of the sections, set up a discussion board, and then student hours. I was just going to show you this. This is just an example of one of my weeks. And I really liked some of the templates that we got and thinking about how you actually use sequencing, like, hey, number one, do this. Number two, do this. Number three, do this. I really liked how this was very straightforward. So I adopted that. And then also having the clear due dates. So that seemed to me, to be really helpful. I know I'm running out of time, so I'll just show you really quickly. Last things, same thing. This is just an example of how you can kind of set the availability dates, the first couple of weeks being open. And then after that, week 4, now you need to wait till week 4 to actually start watching the videos. To finish up the points of pride in this course, I'm really excited about using active learning techniques in a digital space. I'll probably use a poll everywhere in my 3 meetings, in-person meetings. And then I'm most importantly going to require my TAs to use poll everywhere, which is basically like the equivalent of iClicker. So I was so relieved to find out, okay, there is a way of doing the iClicker because I became such an iClicker fan, and then using the discussion board. I also am excited to think about accessibility with like the little alt text. That was something that I hadn't really been thinking about before, thinking more about captions on all the videos. Again, wasn't aware that that was possible through Yuja or even important. So it's really good that's an option. And then accountability. So I've kind of structured my course such that, like I was referencing with the reading quizzes, I also have, just for the lecture videos, the students watch the video, watch the 15-minute videos, and then they actually have to take a quiz. And they don't know necessarily whether it's going to be, that quiz is going to be on video 1, video 2, or video 3. There are 3 15-minute videos. So that I was so relieved to find out, okay, there is a way of keeping students accountable to make sure that they actually watch those videos by having those, a little quiz after each video. Course planning worksheet, fabulous. So relying on that instructor's presence, I had already mentioned that. Announcements, I was kind of used them, but it was like 10 years, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago since I've done that. I was glad about being reminded about that. And then the fact that it looks like there's still ways for me to be able to do a lot of those active learning activities, but again, in a remote setting. So I'm excited to keep working on the course.